Yeah, that's not open. That's for when the classes are.
Thursdays and Fridays.
Yeah, Thursday, Friday. You really get still in. All right, we all take room two.
Good morning. Morning. This it? I only have a 4-6 today. I am here to teach 8th grade English. Okay. Everybody knows what to log on? Okay. Oh, 4 people waiting in the waiting room, okay?
You'll get a lot of people.
Oh, there they are. Good morning. Oh, that could just be you all, okay? I'm letting everybody in. Good morning, Takaya. How you doing? I look somewhat different than Mr. Mitchell, don't I?
I don't even see your face.
Oh, you don't see my face? Okay, hold on. Let me get to his camera. Oh, he has his camera off. All right, what about now? Okay. What do I see? Morning, Ryan. Ryan, I didn't hear anything. Takaya, why did you leave me? Good morning, Ryan. I heard you. Good morning, Christopher. Christopher.
Morning.
I hear you. How about you, Nisi? Come on, Nisi.
Well, they might not be able to hear you.
Oh, she can. They can. Yeah. Nisi, we go way back from last year.
Hey.
Hey, Nisi. All right. How do I pronounce that?
Oh, McCarran?
Hey, McCarran.
Oh, McCarran had interviewed for an internship with Riverside.
Ah. McCarran. How you doing? Hold your head up, McCarran. You turned your camera on, but your head was down. I like to see all my 7th graders from last year. McCarran.
Oh, look, I'm just disembodied hands.
I know. Okay, so I saw everybody, heard from everybody. McCarran is hiding from me. All right. I turn you back over to Mr. Mitchell. Oh. That was a short English class.
Welcome, everybody. Let's let these folks in. Thank you, Dr. Steffer. I appreciate it. All right. We're going to try something totally different. Ozanay, would you mind shutting the door? All right. Get all of these screens set up for you. Get into our... Hold your breath. Do you all do that? Neo, do you ever do that? Like you have to redo your mask. Hey, Isaac, how are you? Hey, Bree. You ever have to readjust your mask and you like hold your breath while you readjust it? Oh, I don't know. I find myself doing that pretty frequently. Hey, Ladea, Joseph, how are you, both of you? Welcome, Ryan. All right, folks, we're gonna try something different today. I want to do an experiment, and you're about to be the test subjects. Yep, the guinea pigs, but we will not reduce you to that by any means. That is certainly not what we're trying to do here. If you will, go to modules, and I want you to open chapters 10 through, whoops, I'm in the wrong class. All right, go to chapters 10 through 18 in under modules and open a copy of your text, okay? Publish this, and then I'm going to have to unpublish a bunch of it. What happened? You found $5. Oh. What? It was just randomly in a desk? Wow, look at you. And nobody reported having missing any money. How much was it? $5. No, she found a different amount than. All right. Let's get this module moved. All right, if you're just joining. Oh, let's get it collapsed. It's not wanting to move. Reading inventory? No. Oh no, that's the achieve. Yeah, that's from my previous class. All right, I think, hold on. How come it didn't publish the module? Let's try again. Do you know what that's from? Oh, okay. Let me make sure it doesn't. Why does it do that? It like automatically published everything, and I don't want you to have everything because not everything is organized the way I want it for tomorrow. Okay, great. Well, welcome everyone. I'm glad that you are here. I hope you had a good weekend. I did. It was a weird weekend. Like it felt really, my goodness. It felt really short. Did it feel short to you all? No, it didn't. Oh, Isaac, how about you? Oh, Azane, what about you? Did it feel like it was a short weekend? No, it just felt normal to all of you. All right. Yeah, thanks, Bree. I appreciate it. Sunday fell short. Okay, so I have a confession to make before we like really get into what we're going to work on today. Here's my confession to you. Did you all notice if you were in the classroom last week on Friday, did you all notice I had two different shoes on? Oh, you didn't see them? I know, I walked across. I did. I walked across. Yeah, right. Exactly. That's the point. And now listen, Bree, you had your Nikes on, right? That are two different colors, didn't you? On Friday. What's that? Oh yeah, the Jordans, right? That are two different colors. And I think I told you weeks and weeks ago, I really thought your shoes were cool. Like I know your like teacher said your shoes are cool. Now you never want to wear them again. So here's the thing. I noticed that on Friday and I was like, oh, that's really neat. She's got her shoes on that are like the not two different shoes, but like two different colored shoes, right? Well, I was walking in the hallway on Friday in the morning and I thought, oh, Benjamin, sometimes, my shoes, I put those comfort insoles in them. Yes, this is the story, everybody. So just sit back and enjoy it, right? So I like to put the gel insoles in, especially if you're walking around and makes your feet comfortable. Well, wouldn't you know, Benjamin must have been messing with the shoes because one of my shoes felt so much shorter than the other shoe. Like the sole wasn't as thick. I thought he must have taken the insole out and put it behind where we keep our shoes or something goofy. And I was like, oh my God. So that was the morning. Well, that afternoon, I was walking in the hallway again and I noticed it. And I was like, what in the world? I'm going to really have to go home and find the other insert for this shoe because I can't live like this. Well, I was sitting here in my chair at the very end of the day on Friday, waiting to go to a Friday meeting. And I looked down at my feet and sure enough, my shoes were two completely different shoes. One of them was an Adidas shoe and the other was a New Balance shoe. And I had been the whole day and never looked at them. They're both in black, so they didn't like stand out. But here's the real kicker. No one said anything to me all day, but Miss Leahy noticed it. She noticed at lunchtime that I had two different shoes on and she thought that I had done it. I don't know. You'll have to ask her why she thought I had done it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for joining. Yes, that is my story about Mr. Mitchell being absent-minded or not, I don't know, just not paying attention. So, well, thanks, Joseph. I'm doing all right. Today is a Monday. So what I want you to do is go ahead and open your refugee novel. And we're gonna do something that is not part of what we had originally planned. I want to try something with you today. So the first thing to note, if you're on the same page as, oh, people in the room can't even see what's going on here. Now you can. All right, here is your link. And yes, you do have to sign in or sign up using Clever. So we're gonna log in together. But while that's loading, I wanted to just tell you really quick, chapters 10 through 12 are what we're going to focus in on today. Okay. And I said chapter 10 starts at page 34. And then tomorrow we'll be looking at 13 through 15, and that'll start on page 42. And then chapters 16 through 18, those are going to start there on page 51. Now, my goal for you is to make sure that I get like these as accurate as possible. So if you find an error, let me know, and then I'll change it, and then I'll change it for everyone. Okay. So we have our sign in to actively learn. We're going to click on Clever. I don't have the movie to this book, but I might try to be able to find it, and we'll see what we could do about that. That'd be a pretty cool thing. All right. Let's close that. All right. So so page 34, chapter 10 starts. Okay, so here's what I want to try. And like, it's good for you to know why I'm doing this. Today, we're going to be talking about mood and tone. And you're going to have to read chapters 11 and 12 on your own and fill out the graphic organizer. We're going to have to fill out the chapter 10 organizer together. And I think if you already knew what you were going to be looking at, you're going to be more successful, like as in you'll be able to do it faster. So as part of our class, yes, here's I guess I could send you this link. Here we go. Copy the link and I'll put it here for you in the chat. There you go. And remember, click on to log in with Clever. And if you have to sign up, yep, if you have to join, you click join the class and everything. And the code, the code is in the other, is in the other link. Neo.
That was for that.
Bree, was it really? Okay. Here's the class code.
What's with the Flipgrid thing, and why does it say it was due on the 10th?
Flipgrid? Oh, that's a leftover thing that I couldn't remove.
But we don't have to worry about it.
No, that was from Miss Hall. Here's the code, Major, there's the code in the chat. Okay, so you see that there's that video, just scroll past it. That's not, I didn't know how to remove it when it got added in, but I know how to remove it now. In fact, can I remove it right now? I'm learning this piece of software as well. Oh, look, I can. Oh, that seemed to have worked. Okay. Excellent. Neo, you're on the wrong one. That's why. Click the one that I put in the chat. There you go. Yeah, you got it. What? Okay. You don't look at my tabs, just look at what I'm sharing on my screen. All right, so we're into chapter 10, Joseph. We're just going to read it. That's it. And if you know what to expect, you're going to do a lot better, or you'll be able to work a lot faster, I think. Okay. And then we'll come back to this. So you're going to leave it open. All right, Joseph, somewhere on the Atlantic Ocean, 1939, 6 days from home. So he's been gone for 6 days. That's when they left to go meet their dad, Mr. Landau. Ruthie skipped ahead of Joseph along the promenade deck, happier than he'd ever seen her before. And why not? The MS St. Louis was a paradise. Banned from movie theaters in Germany because she was a Jew, Ruthie had seen her first cartoon on board during movie night and loved it, even if it was followed by a newsreel with Hitler yelling about Jews. 3 times a day, they ate delicious meals in a dining room laid out with white linen tablecloths, crystal glasses, and shining silverware, and stewards waited on them hand and foot. They had played shuffleboard and badminton, and the crew was putting up a swimming pool, which they promised to fill with seawater once the St. Louis hit the warm Gulf Stream. Everyone on the crew had treated Joseph and his family with kindness and respect, despite his father's repeated warnings that all Germans were out to get them. In 5 days, Papa hadn't come out of their cabin once, not even for meals, and Joseph's mother had barely left his side. And the crew wasn't just being nice because they didn't know Joseph and his family were Jews. No one wore their Jewish armbands on the ship. And there were no J's above the passenger compartments because all the passengers were Jews, all 908 of them. They were all going to Cuba to escape the Nazis. And now they were finally away from the threats and violence that followed them everywhere in Germany. There was singing and dancing and laughter. 2 girls around Ruthie's age were wearing matching flowery dresses, were leaning over the railing and giggling. Joseph and Ruthie went over to see what they were doing. One of the girls had found a long piece of string and was dangling it over the side, tickling the noses of passengers who were sleeping on chairs down on A deck. Their current victim kept batting at his nose like there was a fly on it. He bobbed his nose hard enough to jerk awake, and Ruthie laughed hysterically. The girls yanked up the string, and all of them dropped to the deck behind the rail, where the man couldn't see them laughing. "I'm Joseph," he told the other girls when they all gathered themselves together, "and this is Ruthie." "Joseph just turned 13, Ruthie told the girls. "He is going to have his bar mitzvah next Shabbos." A bar mitzvah was a ceremony at which a boy officially became a man under Jewish law. It was usually held on the first Shabbos, the Sabbath, the Jewish day of rest, after a boy's 13th birthday. Joseph couldn't wait for his bar mitzvah. "If there's enough people," Joseph reminded his sister. "I'm Renata Aber," said the older of the 2 girls, "and this is Evelyn." They were sisters, and amazingly, they were traveling alone. "Our father was waiting for us in Cuba," Renata told them. "Where is your mama?" Ruthie asked. "She wanted to stay in Germany," Evelyn said. Joseph could tell it wasn't something they were comfortable talking about. "Hey, I know something funny we can do," he told them. It was a trick he and Klaus had played on Herr Meyer once upon a time. Thinking about Klaus made Joseph think about other things, but he blinked away the bad memories. The MS St. Louis had left all that behind. First, Joseph said, "We need some soap." Once they had found a bar, Joseph showed them how to soap up a door handle so that it was slick, and it was so slick it was impossible to turn. They had used it on all the door handles of cabins up and down the passageway on A deck, then hid around the corner and waited. Soon enough, a steward balancing a large silver tray came down the hall from the other end and knocked on the door. Joseph, Ruthie, Renata, and Evelyn had to swallow their snickers as the steward reached down with his free hand and tried and failed to open the door. The steward couldn't see because of the big platter he held, and as he fumbled with the knob, he lost his hold on the tray, and the whole thing came crashing down with a great clatter. All 4 of them burst out laughing, and Joseph and Renata pulled the 2 younger children away before they could be caught. They collapsed behind one of the lifeboats, panting and giggling. As Joseph dried his eyes, he realized he hadn't played like this, hadn't laughed like this for many years. Joseph wished they could stay on board the St. Louis forever. Okay, so get yourself set up now. Click on the up arrow to go back to page 34. Okay, and now let's go over to our modules. And I'll share the link with you. So the reason, again, why I wanted to do it that way is now we've already read chapter 10. So when we go to do our organizer, we don't have to like spend a lot of time reading and flipping back and forth. We can just go over to the text, find what we need to find, put it in our organizer, and like check to make sure that we got it. And then you all can work on your own. All right, so let's get started right here with the engage. What is the tone? Hey, Miss Holmes. Welcome.
Good morning.
All right, folks, here's the link. All right, take 5 minutes. Let me pull up our timer. And there are 4 questions. All right, take 5 minutes and let's see what you remember, okay? Pessimistic, like negative, focusing on the negative. Isaac, are you in the Zoom? Can join the Zoom so you can, or get on the link, the engage link. Mhm. Good job, man. All right, 3 minutes left. Isaac, I opened it for you. Haley, here you go. This is just a do now. What do you remember? Here you go, Christopher. Nice job. Thanks for sharing that score. All right, just 2 minutes left. By the way, the next one that's set up like a quiz, that's our notes today. They're just in quiz form. Ooh, let me look at it.
I just did the first two again.
It says revise.
No, it's because I already submitted it.
Oh, weird.
Because if I go down to the third one that I already did,
That's really strange. All right, one more minute. If you haven't started yet, get started. At least get the first two done so that you can. Good, Rayshawn. Hey, Rayshawn, how are you doing? Are you feeling okay? Did you really? Good job. Lots of good news. Isaac, do you need me to open the tab again? Okay. All right, 10 seconds left. All right, so some of you have your answers. You already know the correct answer. Let's see if we can figure this out. All right, question number one. I'm gonna take the quiz along with you. There are many people that need help. Some people need help paying for food and clothes. One way I can make a difference is to have a fundraiser to help raise money. Then I can donate it to charity that helps those that are in need. What's the tone of the passage? You could just say it out loud. Good. Okay, good question. So the answer choice that we're choosing here in the classroom is what people say, sympathetic. Yes. Okay, sympathetic was the answer that we chose. And the question is, what does pessimistic mean? So a pessimistic person is one who's going to always focus on what's negative. Okay. This is not, it's focusing on the positive. Real quick, something to point out. Excited, if you picked the wrong answer, you probably chose excited or pessimistic because you weren't sure what it meant. But this is not an excited tone. Excited would be like, I'm very excited to do something. This is just setting the stage for what they're going to do. All right, let's look at question number 2. Class, today is going to be a busy day. This is a list of tasks that must be completed before lunch. Math worksheet, silent reading, writing project. What's the tone? Go ahead. Okay, it's a serious tone. Sorry, I missed you online. What did you say?
You said the same thing.
Very good, very good. All right, a serious tone. It's not cautious because they're not warning you about anything. Funny, of course, no. Scary, oh, come on. Right, good. Question number 3. I feel like throwing something. Oh, that should be a big giveaway right there. I was typing my paper and was almost finished. Then the power went out. Now my paper is lost. I almost threw the keyboard on the, I think it's supposed to say the floor, when I saw my paper was gone. I also yelled at my mom. Okay, we have enough evidence. Go ahead and say your answer. Very good. Angry, but you had originally picked serious, but then you realized, oh, this is taking a very frustrated, might be even a better word. Yes. Well, I think we had enough. Yeah, but we had enough evidence, didn't we? Yeah, and you already did read the passage. Okay, number 4. I agree with you on that one. Number 4. Wow, this weekend is going to be so much fun. I can't wait until I get to go camping. I will get to build a fire, sleep in a tent. The best part is that I will probably see many stars at nighttime. I will also get to roast marshmallows for s'mores. The answer is, if you're Mr. Mitzel, Miss Holmes, were you here on the day that I talked about what my opinion of camping was?
No, I missed that
You
one.
didn't hear? Yeah, so the students here, many of them have heard my opinion of camping. I really like the idea of camping. I think it's cool. It has a lot of the things that I like to do, like sitting by a fire and, talking with people. It's the sleeping outside part that I don't care for. So like, if you could get all the good parts of camping and then take away the mosquitoes and the oppressive heat, And then the freezing cold temperature that inevitably will, and the air mattress that like deflates, then I'd love camping. But
Well, that's where you're gonna miss out then. That's the best part.
I don't, I
I
said,
love sleeping outside. That's what I
oh my
want to
gosh.
do.
No, I can't sit. I don't mind sleeping in a tent, but there are two things that really bug me about it. The first one is you get on that, the bugs, yeah. Now, the first one is you get on that air mattress and you're out there for like 2 or 3 nights. And the first night is when the air mattress pops. Always. It's the one where it gets a little tiny leak in it and it hisses down. And you got to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and you got to get that foot pump and you're pumping it back up.
Right.
And you wake up and, you wake up when the second part, the sun comes up and it heats up your tent. And here it is like 7 o'clock in the morning and you want to sleep a little bit longer, but you're on the ground because your air mattress deflated and the tent is about 95 degrees on the inside. That's okay. All right.
Yeah, that's a miserable one.
Yeah. So maybe if Mrs. Mitchell was saying this one, wow, this weekend is going to be so much fun. I can't wait to go camping. Maybe the word would be sarcastic. All right. Go ahead if you haven't already submitted that. This is, again, just a warm up to get us to identify our tonal words, okay? And sometimes things like, the exclamation point, that'll indicate, excitement or passion. You'll choose something that's a little bit more energetic, but you need to look at the specific words. So go ahead on your screen and click next. You'll see our anchor chart. And folks, our anchor, actually, it's on the next slide after this one. This is our learning target. But our anchor chart is going to be really basic today. It's really brief. All right. By the end of class, I'll be able to identify words an author uses that contribute to the tone and mood of a text. I will show I can do this by analyzing chapters 10 through 12, and we've already read chapter 10. In Refugee, I'm going to identify tone words. I'll describe the mood, and then I'll explain how the author's word choice connects with the outcome of each chapter. Okay, so you're going to make a connection there. It doesn't have to be an essay. Okay, I will know I've been successful when I've answered at least a 7 out of 10 on my exit. So today's organizer, that's going to get us to the practice. Like that's the thing we'll practice with. But you're going to do something like we just did. You're going to do the same thing as an exit ticket, but you'll do it with a poem. Well, you'll do it with some passage. So we want to make sure we have enough time for you to get to that part. All right, there's not a lot of, yes. Yeah, you'll answer the questions in Refugee. Yep. Okay, so this is it. This is all I have to show you before we can start to kind of work through some of these and identify the words. The tone is always set by the author. It's based on the words that the author chooses, right? So if you say like, today is birthdays are a big deal in the Mitchell home. It's something we always celebrate. We're getting ready to celebrate my father-in-law, Mr. Depp, Mrs. Mitchell's father's birthday is this Thursday. So we're getting ready to celebrate that. And when we talk about birthdays, we're always very excited about them. Okay, so we'll use highly descriptive language, right? When we're saying like, oh, I can't wait. Might even say I'm excited for, or I might even put it in bold if I was writing about it. Good. But that's going to be set by the speaker, the tone, or by the author. So folks, when you're reading maybe a nonfiction article, or you're reading a poem, or you're reading a passage like we're going to be reading in Refugee, you're going to be looking for specific words that help you figure out how the author feels about the particular topic. Okay. Then when you give the tone, you're always going to use like a very strong adjective. So here are some examples. You could say cynical. That's how I am about camping. Sympathetic. That's how we might be if we hear that someone's going through a rough time. Cheerful, positive. Those are probably really closely related. Sarcastic. Oh no, you're never sarcastic. Oh, there is sarcastic. Ironic, solemn. Solemn is like, this is a very serious time, everyone. Vindictive, like that's manipulating and definitely negative. Or it could be intense. Like maybe the way that I talk about camping is not a fun time for me. But Miss Holmes, she might hear what I have to say and completely disagree. And then she very passionately and intensely argues against it. No, Mr. Missile, those are all the fun parts because it's all about, and then she would give her rationale. The tone is the work that the author has already done in writing, okay? Remember that. So you're always going to be looking for, put your phone away, off, out of sight, and on silent. Phone shouldn't be on your screen at all. Yep. If you have a bag, you should put it in your bag so it's not a distraction. Bag's on the floor. Okay. On the other hand, the mood is the feeling that you actually get created, like the feeling that you feel when you're reading something, or it's the feeling that the author intended you to feel. Now, here's my question, right? We had, and we're getting into, personal territory here. We had a really bad day yesterday with Benjamin. Benjamin was just not having it. He was in a lot of trouble all day long, and he had a meltdown, and it was bad for everybody. And he was not being obedient. He was being purposely, being difficult and refusing. And at one point yesterday, we live on a cul-de-sac. He has a little tractor that he rides around. He rode his tractor out into the street without looking, without having a parent out there. And he said no and kept on driving like it was a bad day. And of course, his parents, me and Mrs. Mitchell, got very angry, right? Well, how do you think he responded? What was his mood when we got angry? No. What do you think? How do you think he reacted when I yelled at him? Yeah, he cried, right? He's 3 years old, 3.5 years old. So he cried. You said scared. Okay, good. Yeah, he was definitely, when I shouted out stop really loud across the cul-de-sac, and he stopped, and I started walking toward him. He immediately started crying, and he knew he was in trouble. So my tone was one of, it was intense. I was very angry because of his behavior. And as a result, his mood went from I'm having a good time riding my tractor to the exact opposite. Like you said, scared, crying, that was his action to show he was very sad. No, it's not a feeling. No, crying is the result of the feeling, right? So he was crying, and it was showing he was afraid that he was in trouble. He was very, maybe not sad, like disappointed sad, but sad that he got caught kind of thing. So folks, your tone and your mood don't always match up. Just because it's an angry tone, or his dad took an angry tone with him, didn't mean that he is angry, right? So realize that the tone and the mood can use different descriptors. Miss Holmes, you never had any days like that with your boys, did you?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Yes. The kid had some days.
Oh boy, he ended up taking a 3-hour nap after that cry fest that happened. It was 1:30. He woke up at 4:30, and there was a time he was completely asleep, and he was doing the when he was asleep, cried himself out.
Those were the good days. I mean, no, well, let me rephrase that. Those were the challenging days. The good days now is when they get a certain age and they start to pout or whatever. You can say goodbye, get out of my house, close my door.
Yep. Step away. Step back. I got you. Go find your own space right now. Yeah. Oh no, it was.
But all of it's a joy. Don't get me wrong. All of it's a joy from birth until the end.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. Okay, folks. So go ahead on your screen. Let me share this because I didn't give you the direction. Oop, I got to back up, I think, in order to get this. Let me copy it. Let's see if this works for you. There you go. Click on that link if you didn't already open it. This says it's a quiz, but it's your notes. Okay, we're going to work on this together. So we want to identify the tone words, and then let's try to inject what the mood is supposed to be. All right. All right. So is the author's tone in the sentence below positive, negative, or neutral? And then explain how the words the author used help us determine the tone. So go ahead and quickly read that to yourself. All right. Is it positive, negative, or neutral in your opinion? Okay.
So, Mr. Missile,
Yes. Yes, Ms. Holmes.
if I can jump in for a second.
Yes, please.
I see someone already gave you the answer if it was positive, negative, or neutral, whatever, right? So for a person who don't know, when they read this, it's a key word in there. Can someone tell me what that key word is that would help you? Like if you didn't know the tone of it? Children phones have now been outlawed from all public middle schools in France. What is the key word? If you wasn't sure if this was a positive, neutral, or a negative.
We've got our answer here in the classroom. We'll wait for somebody online to give it before we share what we said.
Okay, online,
Okay,
come on
but let me
online.
repeat this. They're trying to steal, if like no phones, that's negative. Like you don't even have to think about it. If there's no phones, it's negative.
Okay, but what is the key word?
Outlawed?
Mr. Missile, we ready to get the answer?
Yep, Ms. Holmes, that's what we said in the classroom as well.
You're absolutely correct, sweetie. Thank you for sharing.
All right, so I just put here in my notes, the key word is going to be outlawed. All right, so now, and you've already made that correlation, it's negative. Now, if you say neutral, I see why you say neutral. I understand it. If it's just out of context, but if we're only looking at this, you're kind of thinking like if this appeared in an article, but just looking at this specific. Now, what if they could have rephrased this to make it more neutral or even positive? They could say schools, public middle schools in France now ask their students to not bring phones to school, right? That's a lot softer. It's not as, but they're using this key word right here, outlawed. That's a very powerful word. Like if we said, I'm going to outlaw this from the classroom, like I'm taking a hardline stance against it and I want to communicate a negative connotation to that. Like if you outlaw something, it means that we think it's bad, right? To create a law against something is because we think it's bad. All right, so our tone, we're identifying it as being negative. We're identifying our keyword as outlawed. Let's move on to the next one. What's that? The word outlawed? Yes, that's what we're focusing on, just the specific vocabulary. All right, next one. President Emmanuel Macron said the new law would help free teenagers from their phones. All right, positive, negative, or neutral? You all can just say it out here. Virtual people, you all can just say it out loud too.
Neutral?
Okay, we got two different answers. Neutral to positive. What are our keywords? Okay, free, help, agree. So are these words more positive or are they more neutral?
Positive.
More positive. Good. All right. So we have a positive connotation. Our tone words here, free and help. All right. Let's go on to the next one. Jean Noel, let's try this, French name. Jean Noel Tosh is the principal of a middle school in a small town in France. Now y'all are ready to. Neutral. Yes, neutral. Okay, are there any key words that really indicate a positive or negative? No, this is, so let's go back to the comment made previously. Like you said, it's just stating a fact. This here is simply stating a fact. It's a neutral. There are not any key words here that indicate a connotation. Oh, sorry. I'll slow down. Here's number 2. So your keywords were free and help, and it was positive. Number 3, we just said neutral. And you could put the letter N in. You don't have to spell the whole thing out. All right, let's slide on to number 4.
Negative.
We have come together this afternoon to mourn the deaths of 16 miners, our friends and neighbors who were trapped by fire yesterday, deep below the earth. They lived bravely and they died too soon, leaving behind grieving wives and bewildered children. We bid them a farewell, a final farewell. You said negative. Okay, what are some key words? Grieving.
Mourn.
Basically, this whole entire sentence.
Yeah, the whole thing. Here, we could do it. We could do it this way. Here you go. We could paste the whole thing in and delete anything that's not. We have come together this afternoon to, there you go, mourn deaths, trapped. Okay, give me some other words to point out.
Fire.
I guess in the context, yeah, I can see, I can give you that. In the context, fire is, but out of context, fire is not an, I mean, we had to light the fire in order to roast our s'mores. You wouldn't be saying that's negative, right?
Died.
Okay. Okay, died. Ooh, how about this? Too soon.
Leave it.
Yeah, died too soon, I think, as a phrase. We can leave it all together. Oops. Try that again.
Grieving.
Yeah. Even like leaving behind. Grieving. And the word bewildered means confused. All right. And then farewell, but only because it's linked with final. If I say farewell, that's like me just saying goodbye, right? Like, and that could be a positive thing. But final farewell, yeah.
Farewell means like never see you again though. It's not like a bye. It's like, okay, I'm never gonna see you again for a while.
Ooh, so now what you're doing, you see, this was the way to go, Miss Holmes. These guys are kicking it. There, I just put it in the chat for you. So so now what's the tone? We said it's a negative, overall negative vibe. But what's the tone? What descriptive word could we use? What do you think? You're really not going to be wrong because there's not just
Right, because if I could just piggyback, if you look at the keywords, what tone those keywords put you in when you read those?
Sorrow.
Called self-assessments, so you can try to figure out the answer. And I'm glad Mr. Mitchell just did that. Because even when you look at these keywords, you can get a tone and a mood out of it. So say the keywords to yourself. You have, and I'm gonna repeat them as you say it to yourself. Mourn, death, trapped, died too soon, leaving behind grieving, bewildered, final farewell. What is that tone? What is the mood of those keywords?
Depressed.
Okay, I'm going to put in some of the words that I'm hearing.
Okay.
Serious.
Serious. Depressed. Yes. Let's keep going. Good job. How about empty? Would that be one, Mr. Missile?
Oh, that's a
Like,
great
this
one.
person's empty.
So the person who's speaking is certainly being serious. They're being, maybe they do feel down, right? Down and depressed. They might feel, yeah, like they've lost something, something's been taken out of them and now they feel empty. So now swing it to like, how do you feel? How are you supposed to feel when you read this? If it was our community and plug yourself in for a moment. Oh, wow. I'm going to share this out loud. Miss Holmes, we say we're supposed to feel empathy or sympathy.
Yeah,
Good.
that's what I was thinking. Good job. Yes.
Good. Empathetic. And I'll give you these two. Job. Well done, everybody. What's that? All right, take a look at the next one. Read that to yourself.
That was good, Mr. Smith. Do the same way, you guys.
All right, based on your reading, positive, negative, or neutral? We're getting our answer here. Online, what's your consensus?
Negative.
Okay, we agree here in the classroom. Okay, so it has a negative connotation just generally. What are some of our key words? Good, the first phrase. What's the matter? All right.
Slap.
Okay. I'm going to bold it so we can delete the other. Okay, so you said slapped. What else? Can't. Now it's like we can't do something.
Nobody.
Okay.
Traffic.
So
Traffic.
right here, yeah. So put it in you want to put it into context if you're using a phrase, right? Whoops, try that again. Without a special permit. Now they've gone and slapped, you said, another tax on gas purchase. And then the next one you said was, what was the next one? People who are online?
Traffic delays.
Good. Yeah, traffic delays. All right, look at that last part, the last sentence. The sooner we vote them off, the better we all be. Okay. How about this? Yeah, vote them out. Okay, so now we have lots of good tone words here. Right, how would you describe the tone? The author is
Disappointed.
disappointed, annoyed. Here's mine. Furious. Any others? Yes, Takai, I can. You don't have to have any others. I just wondered if what's that?
Irritated.
Irritated. Yes. Ooh, could I go on? I want to add one. Irate. You know, irate means like extremely angry. Okay, now you hear this, and what is your mood supposed to be? If this is happening in your neighborhood or your town, your city,
Angry.
you're supposed to be infuriated, angry. You are supposed to be empathetic.
So, Mr. Missile,
Yes, Ms. Holmes?
so let me ask you this, just to do a help me out scene for some of our family members, because I'm getting that maybe some people are still confused between tone and mood. So if I could get someone on the line to explain it to someone that may not be understanding, but they're not saying anything, they're just listening to us. So could someone explain the difference between that tone and that mood for one of our family members?
Tone is what the author feels, mood is what the reader feels.
All right. Thank you. That sums it up.
Yeah. So the author is the person who's saying this is disappointed in their town. They're annoyed. They're furious with the way the council is acting. They're irritated at the new laws. They're irate over the fact that they spent money on widening a road that was already wide enough. You are hearing this and you're supposed to be roused into action. You're supposed to be infuriated by it. You're supposed to become empathetically angry. Maybe even, we could add this one in, you're supposed to feel a call to action. Or at least a call to empathize. I think that's really key. All right, well done. And that's all in the chat for you if you needed help just typing it. Okay, I'd like you to read this last one, and you're going to do something similar. You're going to do the same thing. And I'll make a framework for you.
Negative.
Here you go, folks. You can copy and paste this in, and then you could fill yours in. I agree with you, by the way, for negative. Okay. Neil? Mm-hmm. All right, go ahead and fill it in the rest of the way on your own. And then once you're done, go ahead to click submit. All right. This will be your check. And Ms. Holmes and I will just look over your shoulder here and go Guardian. After you click submit, you can go on to the next one. Ah, very good. Yes, McCarran, well done. Oh, I put the little framework in the chat for you if you want to copy and paste it out. So let me give a hint to So people that have it, have it. People who don't have it, let's correct real quick. So it's going to be negative, and there are some really strong negative words, like for instance, the word poisoning, okay? And let me give you one other, victim. Now, if it just said food poisoning is something that happens when people consume the botulism bacteria, well, that might be informational and negative. But because we have the word victim, that's going to be one of our keywords that help us realize it's definitely negative. Oh, oh yeah, you don't want to have to go. Yes, sir.
I think it's negative because it's describing about how somebody got sick first, or if it was just describing what sick person is related to.
Right. Okay, good. So, oh, because remember, they have to be automatically graded, but this is your notes page, so you won't. This is just our, like what we did. Instead of giving you a document with boxes in it, I just use this. Isaac, real quick, like to follow up with what you just said.
Mr. Mitchell,
Yes.
I'm thrown off by the part where it says it has been 10 years since it happened. Like, are they celebrating it? Like, are they happy it didn't happen?
No.
Or-
Yes. They're just reporting like, so it's rare because notice the very beginning, botulism, a type of rare severe food poisoning. They're like reiterating the fact that it's rare, that it doesn't often happen. It's been 10 years since the last instance of botulism poisoning was reported in the state. Like, it's rare. It only happens once every 10 years. All right, go ahead and submit once you're finished and click next, and you'll be able to open our organizer. Okay, so we've done a lot of practicing. Now you are experts at it. I'll make my copy and you'll make yours. Oh, the really pretty one's not in here. Miss Holmes, we have a really fancy version that we created, well, that Miss Roan actually modified it, and we called it, she Holmesified it. But my version didn't update.
I did update.
No, so we don't have the Holmesified version.
That's okay, Sue. So, let me check this out real fast.
Yeah. All right, let's look at chapter 10. So I'm going to go into split screen mode. And I know that that's not convenient for everybody, although some of you know how to do that. What's that, Carter? All right, so we're going to be focusing right here on chapter 10, Joseph. So I have both of mine open. I have to log back in to access it. That's okay, logging in with Clever. So we read Joseph and his sister are on the boat and they're getting into trouble. All right, let's take a look at page 34. All right, Bree, do you want to start scanning that page? Azana, you can start looking at that page too. Well, actually, everyone, Raina and Isaac, you all can too. Folks online, do you see words that indicate tone? Look at the first couple of sentences.
Yes.
Okay, what are some of them that you see that help us understand the author's tone?
Happier in paradise.
Happier and paradise. Happier. Paradise, good. Listen to this one. The Emma St. Louis was a paradise, banned from movie theaters in Germany because she was a Jew. Ruthie had seen her first cartoon on board during movie night and loved it. even if it was followed by a newsreel of Hitler yelling about Jews. Loved, good. All right. All right, continue scanning through. Ah, yeah, look how it's described. Delicious meals in a dining room. Stewards waited on them hand and foot. They played shuffleboard and badminton.
Excuse me, Mr. Missile, my seventh graders are coming in, so I have to grade.
All right, thank you, Miss Holmes.
All right, thank you guys. Y'all have a good evening.
All right. So in the very beginning part, what we're seeing right here, and the very first paragraph anyway, the tone that the author is using is positive, right? Could we add a, so we could say paragraph 1 is positive. What can we give a descriptor for this type of, how does the author feel about this? Okay, it is happy, but what kind of happiness? Playful, okay.
Excited.
Excited, yeah. I can see indicators of that, but it's a happier time than it was. It's a paradise. They loved it. The food was delicious. What did you? Relieved, okay. But I think another one, and this is just from me, how about hopeful? I feel like it's a hopeful tone, right? Things were bad, now they're good. Bree, did you fall asleep? No, you didn't. Okay. Now, when we read it, what are we supposed to feel for these characters? I think this is where we could put our word relief, right? I feel relieved for them. They're finally safe. So my description here is paragraph 1 is positive, it's hopeful. I feel relief for Joseph and his sister because they are safe. Yeah, like confident that they remember that other part where Joseph says like he hadn't laughed that hard since like in years or something, right? It had been a really, really long time since they had laughed that hard. Now, there is one thing I do want to point out. Everyone on the crew had treated Joseph and his family with kindness and respect, despite his father's repeated warnings that all Germans were out to get them. Look at what's in the parentheses. In 5 days, Papa hadn't come out of the cabin once, not even for meals, and Joseph's mother had barely left his side. So we do have a sense of like relief and hope, and there's some positivity, and they're getting some reprieve, right? They're getting like a break from being on the run. They don't have to wear their armbands. They, everyone is Jewish, so there's no J's above their cabins, indicating that they're, their cabins. But there's that thing, that kind of that little dark cloud that's hanging over their heads. Yeah, Azane? Yeah, that would be, there's a passenger manifest, which is a list of all the people who went on board with their tickets. Yep. And you don't want to, it's pretty confident. Yeah, you're probably confident as to how many people showed up, or how many people are on board, because you do count the tickets as people come in, and you check the names off the lists of passengers. And it's very rare that, you end up with more passengers when you arrive. Yeah, unless you have a stowaway. Okay. Yeah, and we'd certainly hope that you don't end up with fewer passengers when you arrive, although that's going to happen. You're going to see here in a minute. Okay, go ahead and let's click on to. No, I didn't spoil anything. I said just hold on a minute. Okay, so page 2 of this chapter, or rather I should say page 35. This is the end. Are there any other key words here that I've already kind of given this one away? All four of them burst out laughing, and Joseph and Renata pulled the two younger children away before they could be caught. They collapsed behind one of the lifeboats, panting and giggling. As Joseph dried his eyes, he realized he hadn't played this, hadn't laughed like this for many years. Joseph wished he could stay on board the St. Louis forever. So well, because it's going to arrive in Cuba and he's going to have to exit the boat. Does this chapter end in a positive or a negative way for the character?
Yes.
It's positive. Yeah, I can say it's not a negative thing.
Tiny cloud of negativity.
There is a small, we call that foreshadowing, a little hint at something bad that may be about to happen. But yeah, it ends in a positive way. Okay. How does the author's word choice match what happens to the character? There you go, and I'll put it in the chat to you. So here's what I was thinking, and based on your responses. All right, it ends in a positive way. The character Joseph wants to stay on board. He is having a great time laughing and playing. All right, now you're tasked with, well, we have to answer the question. Describe the feelings on the ocean liner. Why do you think Joseph's father felt the opposite way of everybody else? We can actually say it out loud, then you can type your answer in. Didn't trust. He wasn't out there because, right? Yeah, he wasn't out there because he didn't trust the Germans, right? Yeah, but remember, he's in like survival mode. I don't want to like, yeah, out of the concentration camp. You're absolutely right. Right. Well, you're all giving really good questions that people online are missing out on. Okay, so here, let me tell you what the discussion.
Could you say he's traumatized?
Yes, you've actually, hey, great job. You actually answered to where I was going to go with it. So our conversation back and forth was, he just got out of the concentration camp. There's like no guarantee or protection that he couldn't go. We don't know what happened to Joseph's father. We don't know what happened to Mr. Landau. Like any number of like really, horrible experiences could have gone on, and we can only assume the way that we can only infer based on the evidence that the author provided that his experience was horrible and that he was let out and told to leave the country, and he's leaving the country, and he's leaving because it was not in any way a positive or neutral experience. It was only a negative experience, and he's traumatized. And he doesn't trust Germans at all. And he's staying in his cabin. All right, great. So the feelings you said are positive. And then Joseph's father feels the opposite because he doesn't trust the Germans. All right, submit your answer there. And let's get into Isabel. So for the sake of time, like, I don't mind. Do you all mind if I read it? Okay, I'm going to read Isabel. And then you're going to fill in your chart, okay? We're not going to fill in the chart together. And then you'll be left to finish up the class. I actually unpublished your exit ticket. You'll do that tomorrow as an entrance quiz for a grade, okay? This is Isabel just outside Havana, Cuba, 1994. The boat was heavy in Isabel's arms, and she was afraid of dropping it, even though there were 5 other people carrying it with her. She and Ivan held the middle of the boat on either side, while Ivan's parents and Isabel's father and grandfather carried the front and back. Senora Castillo, Ivan's mother, was dark-skinned and curvy and wore a white kerchief over her dreadlocks. Isabel's mother, almost 9 months pregnant, was the only one not helping to carry the boat. It was big and heavy to begin with, and they had packed it with the gas cans, plastic soda bottles filled with fresh water, condensed milk, cheese, and bread and medicine. Everything else had to be left behind. Nothing was more important than making it to Florida. It was night, and a waning moon peeked out from behind scattered clouds. A warm breeze lifted Isabel's short curly hair and raised goosebumps on her arms. Fidel Castro had said that anyone who wanted to leave was welcome to go, but that was hours ago. What if he had changed his mind? What if there was a line of police waiting to arrest them at the beach? Isabel hefted the boat to get a better grip and tried to pick up her pace. They left the village's gravel road and hauled the boat over the dunes to the sea. All Isabel could see was the metal side of the boat in front of her face, but she heard a commotion behind her. There were people on the beach, lots of them. She panicked. Her worst fears come true, and suddenly a blinding light lit her up. Isabel cried out and let go of the boat. Ahead of her, Senora Castillo staggered and lost her grip too, and the front of the boat slammed into the sand. Isabel turned, holding up a hand in front of her eyes, expecting to see a police searchlight shining on her. What she saw instead was a television camera. "You're on CNN," a woman said in Spanish, her face nothing but a silhouette against the light. "Can you tell us what made you decide to leave?" "Quickly," Senor Castillo called from the other side of the boat. "Pick it back up. We're almost to the water." Isabel said, frozen in the bright light of the camera. "Do you have any relatives back in Miami that you want to send a message to?" the reporter asked. "No, Isabel, the boat," Poppy cried. The others had already lifted the boat up out of the sand and were launching toward the sound of the crashing waves. The bright lights of the camera swung away from Isabel and lit up what looked like a party on the beach. More than half of their village was on the sand, clapping, waving, and cheering on the boats. And there were so many boats. Isabel's family had worked in secret all night with the Castillos, worried someone might hear them, but apparently everyone else had been doing the same thing. There were inflatable rafts, canoes with homemade outriggers, rafts made of inner tubes tied together, boats built out of styrofoam and oil drums, a rickety-looking raft made out of wooden shipping pallets and inner tubes raised the bedsheet sail, and as it caught the wind, the villagers on the beach cheered. When another raft made out of an old refrigerator sank, everyone laughed. The camera lights swung around again, and that's when Isabel saw the police. There was a small group of them up on the rocks overlooking the inlet. Not nearly as many as there had been in Havana, but enough to arrest her family for trying to leave Cuba. But these police weren't doing anything. They were just standing and watching. Castro's order to let the people leave must have still been good. "Chabela," her mother called. "Chabela, come on." Mommy was already in the boat, and Poppy was helping Ivan in. Senor Castillo was trying to get the motor started. Isabel waded into the water. The waves lapped up to the bottom of her shorts. She was almost to Poppy's outstretched arm when she saw her father's eyes go wide. Isabel looked back over her shoulder. 2 of the policemen had broken from the group and were running toward the water, toward them. No, they're coming for me," Poppy cried. Isabel fell into the water and swam the rest of the way to the boat, but her father was already climbing over the side. "Start the engine," he cried. No, wait for me, Isabel yelled, spitting seawater. She got a hand to the side of the boat and looked back. The two policemen had hit the surf and were running high-legged through the waves. Worse, the other policemen were running too, and they were all headed for the Castillo's boat. Hans' hands grabbed Isabel and helped her climb the side of the boat. Ivan! But when he got her aboard, Ivan and his mother then reached their hands out for the two policemen who were chasing them. What were they doing? No, Poppy cried, scrambling as far away from them as he could. Ivan and Senora Castillo grabbed the arms of the two policemen and pulled them on board, and they collapsed into the bottom of the boat. The policemen pulled off their berets, and Isabel recognized them instantly. One was Luis, the Castillo's elder son. The other policeman shook out his long black hair, and Isabel started to realize it wasn't a policeman at all. It was a policewoman. When she took Luis's hand, Isabel guessed she was his girlfriend. This must have been the Castillo's plan all along, for Luis and his girlfriend to run away with them. But they had never told Isabel and her family. Peck. A pistol rang out again over the waves, and the crowd on the beach cried out in panic. A pistol fired again. Peck and ping. The hull of the Castillo's boat rang as a bullet hit it. The police were shooting at them, but why? Didn't Castro say it was all right to leave? Isabel's eyes fell on Luis and his girlfriend, and she understood. They had been drafted into the police. They weren't allowed to leave. They were deserters, and deserters were shot. The motor coughed to life, and the boat lurched into a wave, spraying Isabel with seawater. The villagers on the beach cheered for them, and Senor Castillo revved the engine, leaving the charging policemen in their wake. Isabel braced herself between two of the benches, trying to catch her breath. It took her a moment to process it, but this was really happening. They were leaving Cuba, her village, her home, everything she'd known behind. Isabel's father pitched across the roiling boat and grabbed Senor Castillo by the shirt. What are you playing at letting them on board? He demanded. Why, if they follow us, what if they follow us? What if they send a Navy boat after us? You're putting us all in danger. Senor Castillo battled Geraldo Fernandez's arms away. We didn't ask you to come along. It's our gasoline, Isabel's father yelled. They kept arguing, but the engine and the slap of the boat against the waves drowned their words out for Isabel. She wasn't paying any attention anyway. All she could think about was the 90 miles they still had to go and the water pouring in from the gunshot hole in the side of the boat. All right. Go ahead and fill in Isabel, and then you can go on to Mahmoud. You'll have to put an answer in for question 12. Yes, Christopher. And then you're gonna go and finish up with Mahmood. Yes, Azam. Mr. Castillo. Oh, I see. Well, they'd still put them in danger, but Mr. Castillo was like willing to take that risk because it was his son. McCarran, yeah, that's really good. Carter, good. So Bree, make sure you find the words first, okay? And you don't have to have a lot of them. I was looking at what you had typed in for Isabel. In the first column, what words does the author use to create the mood? Yeah, so the mood that we have, like, I mean, I feel suspense. I feel tension when I read Isabel's chapter. Yeah, uncertainty is another good descriptor for that. Yeah, anxious. Yeah, that's good too. All right, ladies and gentlemen, when you're finished with this document, be sure that you've, well, wait, hold on. What are you doing? Come on, man. You don't just close it until you're done. Folks, as soon as you finish, go ahead and click submit. We have to wipe down our desks here. Be safe, everybody, and I will see you tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day. Bye now. Let me end the meeting every time you leave. All right. Bye, everybody. I'll try again. Bye, everybody.